My stepmom said, "I'm selling the house your dad left you," but she forgot I had the original will in my safety deposit box. She was sitting at our kitchen table like she owned the place, which technically she thought she did. Dad had been gone for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of watching her redecorate his study, donate his clothes, and measure the windows for new curtains. "You understand this is what's best," she said, stirring her coffee. "The house is too big for you anyway. You're only 23. I nodded, stayed quiet. What she didn't know was that 2 days before Dad died, he'd called me to the hospital. His hands were shaking as he pressed an envelope into mine. "I need you to take this to the bank," he'd whispered. Inside was a revised will, dated a week earlier, leaving everything to me. At the bank, I opened the safety deposit box Dad had set up in my name. Inside was the original will, notarized and witnessed. The house, the accounts, the car collection, all mine. There was also a letter explaining how he'd discovered her affair with his business partner, how she'd convinced him to update his will while he was on pain medication, how he'd quietly had his lawyer draft the real will once his head cleared. Now she was planning to sell my inheritance, using a forged will she'd filed with probate. I'd spent the last week with Dad's lawyer, Patricia. We had copies of everything. "I'm meeting with a realtor this afternoon," she continued. "We should get at least $850,000. I'm looking at close to $2 million. She paused. "I'll give you $50,000. $50,000 out of my $2 million inheritance. That's very kind," I said quietly. "I'm glad you're being reasonable," she said, standing. "Oh, and I'll need you moved out by the end of the month." "Actually," I said, "I don't think that's going to work." She froze. "Excuse me?" I pulled out my phone and opened the photo I'd saved. The real will, crystal clear. "The house isn't yours to sell." Her face went white, then red. "That's ridiculous. I have the will. Everything goes to me." "You have a will," I corrected. "Not the will." Silence stretched between us. I could see her mind racing. "You have no idea what you're doing," she said quietly. Her voice had changed completely. "If you try to contest this, I will bury you in legal fees." "Patricia Chen called this morning," I interrupted. "Dad's lawyer. She's very interested in discussing document fraud." The coffee cup slipped from her hand, shattering on the hardwood. "You little bitch," she whispered. "I learned from the best." I stood up. "You have until 5 p.m. to remove your belongings. After that, I'm changing the locks." "This isn't over," she hissed. "My boyfriend has connections. People who can make your life very difficult." "Is that a threat?" "It's a promise." I left her standing there, drove to Patricia's office. We spent 3 hours documenting everything. That evening, as I pulled into the driveway, I noticed something that made my blood run cold. The front door was open, just slightly. I always locked it. I sat in my car, phone in hand. That's when I saw movement in the upstairs window. My father's study. Someone was in there, and I had a terrible feeling I knew what they were looking for. The only copy of Dad's letter, the one I'd left in his desk drawer. As I dialed 911, I heard glass shatter from inside. I couldn't fit what happens next in this short video. Watch the rest down below.